Welcome to Belmarsh Prison, one of the United Kingdom's most infamous and high-security jails. Today, we'll take you behind the steel doors to experience what life is like for inmates inside this fortress of law and order. From extreme security measures to psychological pressures, Belmarsh houses some of the UK's most dangerous criminals. This is 24 hours inside Belmarsh Prison. Belmarsh Prison, officially known as HM Prison Belmarsh, is located in Thamesmead, London, and stands as one of the most high-security facilities in the United Kingdom. Constructed in the early 1990s, it was designed to house the most dangerous and high-risk offenders in the country, including terrorists, organised crime leaders, and repeat violent offenders. Its imposing exterior, surrounded by high walls and razor wire, immediately signals the level of security within. For many, it is not just a prison, but a symbol of the state's control over those deemed most threatening to society. Inside Belmarsh, security measures are unparalleled. The prison employs a combination of advanced surveillance technology, strict physical barriers, and highly trained personnel to ensure total control over the inmate population. CCTV cameras are strategically placed to monitor every corridor, communal area, and even external grounds. Entry and exit points are heavily guarded, and only authorized personnel can navigate through multiple layers of security checkpoints. This creates an environment where movement is tightly regulated and risk is minimized as much as possible. Belmarsh has earned a reputation for being home to the UK's most dangerous criminals. Among its population are individuals convicted of terrorism-related offences, high-profile murders, and organised crime activities. The prison's design reflects this reality, with separate wings for different security categories, ensuring that high-risk individuals are segregated from the general population. The prison's classification system ensures that inmates are not only contained but also monitored according to their risk level, which often involves constant supervision and strict routines. The layout of Belmarsh is both strategic and intimidating. Its wings are designed to limit interaction among high-risk prisoners while still allowing necessary movement under strict supervision. Cells are reinforced, and even minor activities, such as attending workshops or exercising, occur under close observation. Guards maintain constant vigilance, and movement between areas is carefully scheduled to prevent conflicts and ensure safety. The prison's architecture itself acts as a deterrent, reminding both inmates and visitors that this is a place of strict discipline and control. Daily life at Belmarsh is characterized by rigid routines and highly regulated activities. Prisoners must follow a timetable that governs everything from waking up and eating meals to attending educational classes or engaging in work assignments. These routines are not just about maintaining order, they are also a critical part of security. By knowing exactly where each prisoner should be at all times, officers can minimize risks of violence, escape, or other incidents. Even minor deviations from the schedule are treated seriously and investigated immediately. Belmarsh also operates under extreme psychological pressure, both for inmates and staff. The constant surveillance, strict confinement, and isolation can weigh heavily on prisoners, especially those housed in high-security wings or solitary confinement. Officers are trained not only to maintain physical security, but also to recognize signs of mental distress, aggression, or attempts to manipulate the system. This dual approach ensures that security is maintained while also managing the human element inherent in any prison environment. Despite its reputation, Belmarsh is not merely a place of containment. The prison offers programs aimed at rehabilitation, including educational classes, vocational training, and psychological support. These initiatives are often limited to prisoners classified as lower risk or those deemed suitable for reintegration programs. However, for the majority of high-security inmates, life is dominated by control, observation, and the strict adherence to rules designed to maintain order within one of the UK's most formidable correctional facilities. The combination of physical security, operational procedures, and inmate management makes Belmarsh a unique institution in the UK penal system. It is not only a prison but a complex environment where every movement, interaction, and activity is carefully monitored. This ensures that even the most dangerous criminals are contained safely, while officers maintain control over a population that could otherwise present serious risks to themselves, staff, and the public. The prison's design and operation represent the UK's approach to high-security incarceration, balancing discipline, control, and limited rehabilitation opportunities in an environment designed for extreme containment. Belmarsh Prison is widely regarded as one of the most secure facilities in the United Kingdom, designed to contain individuals who pose the highest risk to society. From the moment someone approaches the prison, the layers of security are immediately apparent. High perimeter walls topped with razor wire, reinforced gates, and advanced surveillance cameras create a fortress-like appearance. Access is strictly controlled. Visitors, staff, and deliveries must pass through multiple checkpoints, each monitored by trained officers and security systems. These precautions are not just symbolic. They form the backbone of the prison's operational safety. Inside, the security protocols become even more rigorous. Every corridor, landing, and cell is monitored by a network of CCTV cameras, some with infrared capabilities for low-light observation. Officers patrol the wings regularly, conducting random and scheduled checks to ensure compliance with rules. Even minor infractions, such as leaving personal items out of place or interacting in prohibited ways, are swiftly addressed. This constant oversight creates an environment where inmates are aware that every movement is observed, reinforcing discipline and minimizing opportunities for violence or escape. Belmarsh's security also extends to controlling inmate interactions. Prisoners are classified according to risk, and high-security individuals are often segregated from the general population. Movement between wings, attendance at workshops, and even exercise in the yard are strictly scheduled to prevent conflict or collusion. Officers are trained to anticipate tension points and intervene before incidents escalate. This controlled interaction ensures that the prison can manage a volatile population without compromising safety for staff or other inmates. The use of technology is central to Belmarsh's extreme security. Motion sensors, alarm systems, and electronic door controls work alongside human supervision to maintain order. Doors and gates are electronically locked and can be controlled remotely, allowing officers to isolate sections of the prison quickly in case of an emergency. Communication systems enable rapid coordination between control rooms and frontline staff, ensuring that any threat or disturbance can be addressed immediately. This integration of human and technological oversight is a hallmark of modern high-security imprisonment. Daily routines are structured to enhance both security and control. Inmates follow a strict timetable for waking, meals, work, and recreation, reducing opportunities for disorder. Officers conduct regular roll calls, cell checks, and inspections to verify that everyone is accounted for and following rules. Even seemingly mundane tasks, such as delivering meals or moving prisoners to exercise yards, are carefully orchestrated to prevent incidents. The predictability of routines strengthens security, while also reinforcing the hierarchical structure of prison life. Life inside Belmarsh Prison is not only defined by its physical security measures, but also by the psychological environment it imposes on inmates. Isolation is a significant aspect of daily life for high-risk prisoners. Many are confined to their cells for long periods, with minimal human interaction. Solitary confinement is used both as a disciplinary tool and as a precautionary measure for those considered dangerous or unpredictable. The walls of these cells may be bare and the environment deliberately stark, creating a sense of monotony and heightening mental strain. Even during periods when prisoners are allowed outside their cells, interaction is heavily monitored and restricted. In the exercise yard or during limited association periods, officers observe every movement, conversation, and gesture. Inmates are aware that their actions are constantly scrutinized, which reinforces compliance but also adds a layer of psychological tension. The lack of privacy and autonomy can contribute to feelings of vulnerability, anxiety, and frustration, testing the mental resilience of each individual. 6:30 a.m. Belmarsh Prison begins the first formal step of its tightly controlled daily routine: wake up and roll call. The day starts long before sunlight fully illuminates the high walls of the facility. Officers move methodically through the wings, tapping on cell doors or using the intercom system to awaken prisoners. The wake-up process is precise, as every inmate must be accounted for in a timely manner. There is no room for error. Every movement is observed, every response noted. Roll call is more than a mere formality. Officers stand on the landings and count each inmate, ensuring that every individual is present and following protocol. Any discrepancies or delayed responses are treated seriously, triggering additional checks and potentially disciplinary measures. This process reinforces the message that order is paramount in a high-security facility and establishes the tone for the day ahead. During this time, prisoners are emerging from the relative darkness of their cells, adjusting to the strict rhythm of prison life. Some may rise quickly, mentally preparing for the long day ahead, while others may appear weary or tense. Inmates in high-security wings face an added layer of scrutiny. Even minor movements are observed to detect signs of agitation or potential misconduct. The officer's presence is a constant reminder that freedom is heavily restricted and that every action is monitored. The wake-up period also marks the beginning of limited communication among prisoners. For those housed in less restrictive wings, the brief moments outside their cells before breakfast allow for quick exchanges with fellow inmates. However, even these interactions are closely watched, as officers remain vigilant for potential conflicts or signs of disobedience. Social dynamics within the wing are carefully managed to maintain safety and prevent incidents. Simultaneously, officers conduct thorough checks of each cell. They ensure that the area is in order, that no contraband is present, and that safety protocols are being followed. These inspections are routine but essential, reflecting the high-risk nature of the prison population. The checks serve as a reminder that while the day may have just begun, the rules and expectations are unwavering. For inmates, the wake-up and roll call period can be psychologically intense. They are transitioning from the brief solitude of night confinement into the regimented day under constant surveillance. For some, the sudden shift from isolation to observation may provoke anxiety or tension. For others, it is a routine they have adapted to over time, a necessary structure in the otherwise confined and controlled environment. Officers coordinate this process with precision, often moving in pairs or teams to cover the entire wing efficiently. Communication among staff is critical, as any irregularity in roll count must be addressed immediately. The seamless execution of wake-up and roll call exemplifies the level of discipline and organization required to manage a population of high-security prisoners, ensuring that every day begins with order and control. As the day officially begins at Belmarsh, the wake-up and roll call serve as the first of many structured steps that define life inside this high-security prison. It sets the stage for the day's tightly regulated activities, from breakfast to work, education, and lock-ins, reinforcing the rhythm of control that permeates every aspect of inmate life. The precision and vigilance demonstrated during this early hour underscore the balance between authority, security, and the psychological challenges inherent in such a controlled environment. By 7 a.m., the morning wake-up and roll checks have been completed, and prisoners at Belmarsh transition to the first meal of the day, breakfast. Unlike in lower security facilities, breakfast is not served in a communal dining hall. Instead, meals are delivered directly to the cells through secure hatches, ensuring minimal movement and maintaining maximum control. This method reduces the potential for conflicts and preserves the safety of both inmates and staff. The meal itself is simple but nutritionally balanced, designed to meet dietary standards while accommodating the logistical constraints of a high-security environment. Breakfast may include porridge, bread, fruit, or pre-packaged items, depending on the prisoner's dietary needs and restrictions. Inmates eat under the watchful eyes of officers, who can observe activity through cell doors or surveillance systems. Even this seemingly routine act is part of the prison's strict operational protocol. For prisoners, breakfast in the cell can be a solitary experience. Those confined in high-security wings often eat alone, with limited interaction with others. This isolation during meals reinforces the regimented nature of life inside Belmarsh. Even the act of eating, a basic human function, is framed by structure, observation, and limited freedom, reflecting the pervasive control exerted by the prison's security measures. The delivery of meals is carefully coordinated by officers. Trays are handed through hatches, and any movement of the prisoner must comply with strict instructions. Officers observe the placement of food, the behavior of the inmate, and ensure that nothing is hidden or misused. These precautions are necessary to prevent contraband from entering the cell and to maintain order within the wing, particularly in areas housing high-risk inmates. During breakfast, prisoners often engage in quiet reflection or mentally prepare for the day ahead. Some may read, write, or plan their limited activities, while others simply eat in silence. The monotony and confinement of the morning meal can weigh heavily, yet it also serves as a brief moment of routine and predictability in an otherwise tightly controlled environment. Even minor deviations during breakfast are taken seriously. Inmates must follow precise instructions for eating and cleaning up afterward. Any failure to comply can result in warnings, reports, or further disciplinary measures. The emphasis on routine and order during meals underscores the broader principle that every moment in Belmarsh is structured to reinforce security and control. The psychological impact of eating in isolation under observation is significant. While food sustains the body, the environment shapes the mind. Inmates are constantly reminded of their limited autonomy and the strict regulations governing every aspect of life. This combination of necessity, observation, and routine helps maintain order while imposing the mental discipline required to survive within such a high-security facility. By 7:30 a.m., breakfast concludes, and prisoners are ready for the next stage of the day, the morning unlock. The transition from the confined solitude of the cell to the brief period of relative movement demonstrates the delicate balance of control, routine, and limited freedom that defines life inside Belmarsh. Breakfast, though simple, sets the tone for the day and serves as a microcosm of the regimented, high-security world that prisoners navigate around the clock. By 7:30 a.m., the first meal of the day is complete, and Belmarsh Prison transitions into its morning unlock period, a brief window where inmates are allowed out of their cells under strict supervision. This period, lasting approximately an hour, provides prisoners with limited freedom to perform essential activities such as showering, making phone calls, or moving within the wing. Despite its seeming leniency, the morning unlock is highly structured, ensuring security is never compromised. During this time, officers closely monitor all movement. Inmates must follow strict paths within the wing and are never left unsupervised. Guards are stationed strategically at key points, observing interactions and preventing unauthorized activity. Cameras cover every angle, capturing even the smallest gestures. For high-risk prisoners, the opportunity to leave the cell may be further restricted, and some may only access the area under direct officer escort. The morning unlock also serves as the primary opportunity for hygiene. Showers are carefully scheduled, and prisoners must follow precise procedures. Officers supervise the process to ensure safety and compliance, particularly among individuals with a history of disruptive or aggressive behavior. Maintaining hygiene is not only about health, but also about discipline, as orderly routines contribute to the overall security of the prison environment. Phone calls during morning unlock are another critical activity. Prisoners can contact family members or legal representatives, but all conversations are monitored to prevent the discussion of illegal activities or security breaches. The opportunity to communicate with the outside world is heavily controlled, and any inappropriate behavior can result in restrictions or sanctions. These monitored interactions are both a privilege and a reminder of the boundaries imposed within the prison system. The short period outside cells also allows prisoners to engage in limited social interaction. Inmates in less restrictive wings may exchange brief greetings or conversations under the watchful eye of officers. However, any signs of tension, aggression, or collusion are immediately addressed. The balance between allowing basic social behavior and maintaining safety is delicate, and officers must remain vigilant at all times. During the morning unlock, officers also conduct checks of common areas. They ensure that no contraband has been left behind, that spaces remain orderly, and that all inmates are adhering to the prescribed routine. This dual focus, supervising prisoners and maintaining a secure environment, is essential to preventing incidents, particularly in a facility like Belmarsh that houses high-risk offenders. For prisoners, the morning unlock represents a brief moment of relative autonomy. Even the ability to move a few meters outside the cell or make a short phone call is highly valued. Inmates often use this time strategically, completing essential tasks and mentally preparing for the remainder of the day. The limited freedom, though brief, can provide a small psychological relief amid the constant surveillance and regimented life of the prison. As 8:30 a.m. approaches, the morning unlock period concludes, and inmates return to their cells or proceed to scheduled activities such as work or education. Officers ensure that every prisoner is accounted for before doors are closed, reinforcing the disciplined structure of the day. The morning unlock demonstrates how Belmarsh balances the need for minimal freedoms with the overarching priority of security, setting the stage for the highly regimented activities that follow throughout the day. By 8:30 a.m., Belmarsh Prison transitions into the mid-morning phase of the day, where routines diverge depending on security classification. For some inmates, this period is dedicated to work or educational programs, offering a structured environment within the broader constraints of high-security life. For others, particularly high-risk prisoners, this time is spent in lock-in, confined to their cells under strict supervision. The stark contrast between activity and isolation highlights the tailored approach Belmarsh employs to manage different types of offenders. For prisoners eligible for workshops or vocational training, the day provides limited opportunities to acquire skills that may be beneficial during incarceration or upon release. Educational programs can include literacy classes, vocational training, or behavioral courses designed to promote rehabilitation. Even these activities are conducted under close observation, with officers present to monitor interactions and ensure compliance with prison regulations. Every movement within these areas is accounted for, reflecting the dual goals of security and structured engagement. High-security or high-risk inmates often remain in their cells during this period. Lock-in serves multiple purposes, minimizing potential conflicts, reducing the risk of coordinated disruptions, and ensuring officers can focus attention on areas where interaction occurs. Cells are equipped with basic necessities, but the environment remains deliberately controlled to limit stimulation and maintain security. For these prisoners, hours can feel long and isolating, further reinforcing the psychological pressure of high-security confinement. Movement within the wings for those attending work or education is strictly scheduled. Prisoners are escorted by officers to classrooms, workshops, or other facilities, often in small groups to prevent incidents. These movements are carefully coordinated, with officers maintaining visual and electronic oversight. The procedures may appear rigid, but they are necessary to manage the complex dynamics of a facility housing some of the most dangerous criminals in the UK. The work and educational programs themselves are designed to keep prisoners occupied and mentally engaged. Some may be assigned tasks such as maintenance work, printing services, or kitchen duties, all performed under supervision. These structured activities provide a sense of purpose and routine, while also serving as an outlet for energy and focus. However, the presence of officers and constant monitoring ensures that the environment remains controlled and secure. During lock-in periods, officers conduct routine cell checks and monitor behavior through surveillance systems. Even when inmates are alone, their actions are observed, and any irregularities are reported immediately. This constant oversight reinforces the reality that freedom is severely restricted within Belmarsh, and that compliance with rules is not optional. Every aspect of daily life, including work, education, or confinement, is integrated into the security framework of the prison. Psychologically, this mid-morning period presents contrasting experiences. For those engaged in work or study, there may be a sense of achievement or focus, providing a brief reprieve from the monotony of prison life. For those in lock-in, the hours can feel heavy, emphasizing the restrictions of high-security imprisonment. The balance between controlled activity and isolation is carefully managed by staff to maintain order and prevent tension from escalating among the prison population. As noon approaches, the morning session concludes, and officers prepare for the next scheduled activity, lunch. Prisoners are guided back to the wings or remain in their cells, depending on their classification and security status. The mid-morning period at Belmarsh illustrates the meticulous structure and planning required to maintain both security and engagement within a high-risk environment, where every action is observed and every movement is controlled. By midday, the controlled rhythm of Belmarsh Prison continues with lunch, a highly structured and closely monitored activity. Unlike many prisons where communal dining halls might allow inmates to interact freely, at Belmarsh, meals are often delivered directly to the wings or served in cells, depending on security classification. This system ensures minimal movement while maintaining strict control over high-risk prisoners, reducing opportunities for conflict or manipulation. The meal itself is carefully prepared to provide balanced nutrition, while accommodating the logistical challenges of a high-security environment. Breakfast and lunch differ in composition, yet both follow strict dietary standards. Meals may include sandwiches, hot trays, or pre-packaged items, often served with a beverage. Even something as routine as eating is heavily observed, as officers monitor prisoners to prevent misuse of food items or attempts to conceal contraband. For those prisoners allowed to take lunch in designated wing areas, movement is tightly scheduled and supervised. Officers escort inmates in small groups, guiding them to specific locations where meals are served. Surveillance cameras and direct observation ensure that every interaction is controlled, and no opportunities for disorder arise. These precautions are necessary in a facility that houses some of the most dangerous criminals in the United Kingdom. Lunch in the cell, on the other hand, emphasizes isolation. High-security prisoners remain confined, opening their meal hatches under observation. Eating alone can be psychologically challenging, as prisoners are forced to confront the monotony and solitude of their environment. Officers ensure that the process is orderly, observing each inmate closely to maintain safety and adherence to rules. Even simple acts such as opening the meal hatch or eating are conducted under constant supervision. The psychological impact of the lunch period cannot be understated. For inmates who remain isolated, the repetitive routine reinforces the lack of autonomy that defines life at Belmarsh. For those who attend supervised dining areas, limited social interaction occurs, but under strict control. The balance between structured activity and enforced isolation is carefully maintained, ensuring that all prisoners remain compliant while minimizing risk to staff and fellow inmates. During lunch, officers also conduct additional checks and audits. These include verifying that all inmates are present, observing behavior, and ensuring that the environment is secure. Any signs of misconduct, conflict, or disruption are addressed immediately. This vigilance ensures that even during a time as routine as a meal, the overarching principle of security remains paramount, reflecting the meticulous planning that governs daily life at Belmarsh. Meal times also serve as a subtle reinforcement of hierarchy and control. The timing, method of delivery, and monitoring all emphasize the authority of the institution. Prisoners quickly learn that every action, including something as simple as eating, is subject to regulation. This constant reminder of order helps to maintain compliance and shapes behavior throughout the rest of the day. By 12:30 p.m., lunch concludes, and prisoners either return to their cells or proceed to the next scheduled period of lock-in. The structured delivery of meals, whether in cell or on the wing, exemplifies Belmarsh's approach to balancing minimal freedoms with maximum control. Every aspect of this midday routine, from food preparation to consumption and supervision, is designed to ensure order, maintain security, and reinforce the regimented life of high-security incarceration. Following the conclusion of lunch at 12:30 p.m., Belmarsh Prison enters a lock-in period, where inmates are returned to their cells for a prolonged period of confinement. This midday lock-in serves multiple purposes. It provides officers with a predictable environment to maintain security, gives prisoners time for rest or personal activities, and reduces the risk of conflict among the population. At Belmarsh, even a short period of freedom outside the cell is heavily monitored, making this return to isolation a controlled and essential part of daily operations. During this lock-in, prisoners engage in solitary activities to occupy their time. Many may read, write letters, listen to permitted audio programs, or complete educational assignments. The cells, although restrictive, allow inmates to exercise a minimal degree of autonomy within a highly regulated framework. Even these small personal choices are subject to supervision, as officers maintain vigilance over behavior through both direct observation and electronic monitoring systems. The lock-in period also serves as a critical time for officers to conduct checks and inspections. They verify that cells are secure, that prisoners have not hidden contraband, and that no infractions have occurred during previous periods of activity. This careful oversight reinforces the regimented nature of life at Belmarsh, emphasizing that every aspect of a prisoner's day is accounted for and structured for security purposes. Psychologically, the lock-in period presents unique challenges for inmates. The return to confinement can accentuate feelings of isolation, particularly for those who spend the majority of their time in high-security wings. The monotony and lack of social interaction can increase stress, anxiety, and tension. For some, this is an opportunity for reflection or self-discipline. For others, it can exacerbate the mental strain of incarceration, highlighting the psychological pressures intrinsic to high-security imprisonment. Despite the isolation, officers maintain a continuous presence. Surveillance cameras, intercom systems, and regular cell inspections ensure that any signs of unrest or unusual behavior are quickly detected. This constant oversight is a critical component of Belmarsh's extreme security measures, ensuring that even periods of inactivity do not compromise safety or order. In this way, lock-in serves both a practical and preventive function. Inmates may also use this period to plan or mentally prepare for the upcoming activities of the afternoon, including exercise yard time, workshops, or limited association. The structured nature of the prison timetable creates a predictable rhythm, which some prisoners may rely on for a sense of stability. Even in isolation, the awareness of the day's schedule provides a framework that helps inmates navigate the psychological challenges of incarceration. For staff, the lock-in period allows a degree of operational efficiency. Officers can focus on administrative tasks, monitor surveillance feeds, and ensure that all aspects of the prison schedule are running smoothly. This controlled downtime is essential for maintaining overall security, as it provides officers with a moment to reassess, plan, and respond to any potential incidents before the next period of inmate activity begins. By 2 p.m., the lock-in period concludes, and prisoners transition to the next phase of the day, afternoon activities or yard time. This period of midday confinement exemplifies the balance between control and routine at Belmarsh, where structured isolation serves as a critical tool for maintaining security, discipline, and the psychological management of a high-risk prison population. At 2 p.m., Belmarsh Prison transitions into the afternoon activities and yard time, offering inmates a rare opportunity for physical movement outside the confines of their cells. For most prisoners, this is the most dynamic part of the day, a brief period where they can stretch, exercise, and engage in controlled social interaction. Even these activities, however, are carefully scheduled and heavily supervised to maintain security and order. Access to the exercise yard is highly regulated. Prisoners are escorted in small groups by officers, ensuring that movements remain predictable and manageable. Surveillance cameras cover all areas, capturing activity from multiple angles. Officers are stationed strategically to observe interactions, prevent conflicts, and quickly intervene if necessary. The structured nature of yard time reflects Belmarsh's dual approach, allowing controlled activity while maintaining strict oversight. In the yard, inmates can engage in physical exercise, such as jogging, calisthenics, or limited sports. Some may use gym equipment if available, while others simply pace or perform stretches. These activities are vital not only for physical health, but also for mental well-being, offering a temporary release from the monotony and isolation of the cell. However, the intensity of supervision ensures that even in moments of relative freedom, control is never relinquished. For high-security or high-risk prisoners, access to yard time is often restricted. These individuals may remain in enclosed areas under constant observation, or may receive only brief periods of exercise. This differential access underscores the prison's classification system, where privileges are allocated based on behavior, security risk, and management needs. It also reinforces the psychological hierarchy within the institution, where freedom is closely tied to compliance and security status. Limited association is another feature of yard time. Prisoners may be allowed to converse quietly or interact with one another in controlled groups. These interactions are carefully monitored to prevent disputes, intimidation, or collusion. Officers must remain vigilant, balancing the need for social engagement with the imperative of safety. Even casual exchanges are observed, reflecting the meticulous attention to detail required in a high-security facility. The psychological impact of yard time is significant. For inmates, it represents a small window of normalcy, a chance to move, breathe fresh air, and experience social connection. It also serves as a mental break from the confinement and surveillance that dominate the rest of the day. This brief period can reduce tension and stress, but it is carefully managed to ensure that the temporary freedoms do not compromise overall control. During these hours, officers also conduct routine safety checks and maintain constant situational awareness. Any signs of aggression, rule-breaking, or suspicious activity are noted and addressed immediately. This vigilance ensures that even during what might appear as recreation, security remains the top priority, and the controlled environment of Belmarsh is maintained without compromise. By 4 p.m., the afternoon activities and yard time conclude, and prisoners are guided back to their cells in preparation for the evening meal. This period exemplifies Belmarsh's balance of limited privileges and strict supervision, highlighting the careful planning and control that defines the daily rhythm of one of the UK's most secure and tightly managed prisons. As the afternoon activities conclude, Belmarsh Prison transitions into the evening meal period at 4:30 p.m., a time when inmates are provided with sustenance while remaining under strict supervision. Like breakfast and lunch, dinner is often delivered directly to the cell via secure hatches, particularly for high-risk prisoners. This method ensures minimal movement and reduces the potential for altercations, highlighting the prison's ongoing priority of safety and control. The evening meal is carefully planned to provide balanced nutrition, ensuring that inmates receive adequate sustenance while maintaining the logistical constraints of a high-security environment. Meals may include a hot tray with proteins, vegetables, and carbohydrates, along with packaged sides or drinks. While food is essential, Officers remain vigilant to ensure that nothing is misused or concealed, demonstrating that even the simplest activities are closely monitored. For prisoners confined to high-security wings, dinner in the cell can be an isolating experience. Eating alone emphasizes the regimented nature of prison life, reinforcing the lack of autonomy that defines high-security incarceration. Officers observe each inmate during the meal, checking for compliance with rules and maintaining overall safety. The act of eating, though mundane, becomes a structured and closely controlled routine within the day's schedule. Those allowed limited movement may dine in designated areas on the wing, but even here, interactions are highly supervised. Small groups are escorted by officers, and every conversation is observed for signs of conflict or manipulation. Surveillance cameras cover all areas, providing an additional layer of monitoring. This controlled environment ensures that privileges, even as basic as mealtime, do not compromise the security of the prison. The psychological impact of dinner is notable. For many prisoners, it represents a brief period of normalcy and routine. Yet the constant observation and controlled nature of the meal serve as reminders of the strict hierarchy and limitations imposed by the institution. The balance between providing sustenance and maintaining control is a delicate one, carefully managed by the prison staff to ensure safety and order. During the dinner period, officers also conduct routine cell and wing inspections. They check for contraband, verify attendance, and monitor behavior closely. Any irregularities are addressed immediately, reinforcing the culture of discipline that pervades life at Belmarsh. These checks are an essential part of maintaining the security infrastructure, particularly in a facility that houses high-risk inmates with a history of violence or escape attempts. Even in these brief moments of activity, the prison's structured schedule maintains psychological pressure on the inmates. The repetitive routines, the controlled environment, and the omnipresent surveillance all contribute to a sense of confinement beyond the physical barriers. Prisoners quickly internalize the rules and expectations, understanding that compliance is essential for both safety and privilege. By 5 p.m., dinner concludes, and the prison prepares for the evening unlock period, when inmates are allowed limited freedom for phone calls, showers, or television. The structured delivery of dinner, whether in cell or on the wing, exemplifies Belmarsh's meticulous approach to balancing security, routine, and controlled privileges, ensuring that even a simple meal reinforces the regimented life of high-security imprisonment. At 5 p.m., Belmarsh Prison enters the evening unlock period, a carefully managed window where prisoners are granted limited freedoms for essential activities. During this time, inmates may make phone calls, take showers, watch television, or engage in small personal activities. Despite this relative autonomy, every movement is closely monitored, ensuring that safety, discipline, and security are never compromised. Officers supervise each wing vigilantly, observing interactions and guiding movement. Prisoners are allowed access to certain areas in small, controlled groups, with no unsupervised roaming permitted. Surveillance cameras provide continuous coverage, and staff stationed at strategic points can respond immediately to any disturbances. This blend of controlled freedom and strict supervision is a hallmark of Belmarsh's operational philosophy. Phone calls are one of the most significant privileges during evening unlock. Inmates can contact family members or legal representatives, but these calls are closely monitored for security purposes. Officers listen for any language that may indicate illegal activity or planning and ensure that conversations remain within the permitted scope. For prisoners, these calls are a vital link to the outside world, offering emotional relief and a sense of connection. Showers are another key component of the evening unlock. Inmates follow strict schedules and procedures, with officers ensuring order and safety. The brief period for personal hygiene allows prisoners to maintain dignity and health, yet it is conducted under constant observation. Even such a private act becomes a regulated process, highlighting the pervasive control inherent in high-security incarceration. Television and other permitted personal activities offer a rare opportunity for mental engagement. Inmates may watch news programs or approved entertainment during this period, providing a short reprieve from the monotony of confinement. The ability to make small choices during evening unlock can have a significant psychological impact, helping prisoners maintain a sense of routine and some level of autonomy. Interactions between prisoners during this period are carefully managed. Officers are trained to anticipate tensions and prevent conflicts before they escalate. Even minor disputes are quickly addressed, emphasizing the balance between allowing social contact and ensuring the security of both staff and inmates. The structured approach to limited association prevents opportunities for intimidation, coercion, or planning of misconduct. Psychologically, evening unlock is both a relief and a reminder. Prisoners gain brief freedom within their confined environment, yet they are constantly aware that it is temporary and closely supervised. This period reinforces the structure of prison life, highlighting how privileges are carefully controlled and contingent on compliance with rules and behavior throughout the day. By 7:30 p.m., the evening unlock concludes, and inmates are gradually returned to their cells in preparation for final lockup. Officers ensure that every prisoner is accounted for, and that the wing is secure before closing cell doors. This period demonstrates Belmarsh's meticulous balance of controlled privileges and constant oversight, maintaining order while offering inmates a limited window of activity before night confinement begins. 7:30 p.m., Belmarsh Prison moves into the final lockup, a critical stage in the day where all prisoners are secured in their cells for the night. This process signals the transition from the relative freedoms of the day to the controlled isolation of night confinement. Officers meticulously oversee this procedure, ensuring that every inmate is present, accounted for, and compliant with rules before cell doors are closed. The final lockup is a highly coordinated operation. Officers systematically move through each wing, checking that all prisoners have returned from evening unlock, ensuring that showers are completed, phone calls are concluded, and personal activities have ended. Any inmate not in their cell is immediately located and escorted back, emphasizing the strict adherence to schedules that defines life at Belmarsh. During this time, officers also conduct routine inspections of cells and communal areas. They check for contraband, verify that all safety protocols are being followed, and ensure that nothing has been left out of place. These inspections, though procedural, reinforce the authority of the prison system and maintain a secure environment where even minor infractions are addressed promptly. The psychological aspect of final lockup is profound. Prisoners are acutely aware that they will remain confined for the next 10 to 12 hours, with minimal movement and limited interaction. The anticipation of night confinement can heighten stress, tension, and anxiety, particularly for high-risk inmates accustomed to strict routines and constant surveillance. This period reinforces the regimented structure of the prison day and the omnipresent control exercised by staff. During final lockup, officers ensure that each inmate has access to essential items within the cell, such as bedding, basic hygiene supplies, and personal property allowed under regulations. While the environment is austere, these small provisions are vital for maintaining a minimum standard of dignity and comfort during night confinement. Officers verify that all items are accounted for and correctly stored, preventing misuse or security breaches. The process also serves as a moment of mental preparation for both staff and prisoners. Officers confirm that all security systems are fully operational, from CCTV monitoring to electronically controlled doors. Prisoners, meanwhile, settle into their cells, aware that the next several hours will be spent in near-total isolation. This period reinforces both operational control and the psychological boundaries of incarceration, shaping behavior and maintaining order. Even minor behavioral observations during final lockup are significant. Officers note signs of agitation, anxiety, or unusual conduct, as these can indicate potential risks or conflicts. Early identification of such behaviors allows for intervention before issues escalate, underscoring the preventive and supervisory role of staff within a high-security environment. By 8 p.m., the final lockup is complete, marking the beginning of night confinement. Prisoners are secured behind reinforced cell doors, and the facility transitions into its most controlled phase. The meticulous execution of final lockup exemplifies Belmarsh's combination of discipline, surveillance, and psychological management, ensuring the safety of staff and inmates while reinforcing the regimented life of a high-security prison. By 8 p.m., Belmarsh Prison enters its longest and most controlled phase, night confinement. For the next 10 to 12 hours, prisoners are locked inside their cells, with doors only opening in the event of an emergency or urgent need. This extended period of isolation is one of the defining features of high-security incarceration, emphasizing strict control, discipline, and the management of risk. The cells themselves are austere but secure. Each is equipped with basic necessities, including bedding, lighting, and access to sanitation facilities. Inmates may have personal items permitted under regulations, such as books, writing materials, or approved entertainment devices. However, these provisions are carefully regulated to prevent misuse or the concealment of contraband, reflecting the constant balance between maintaining human dignity and enforcing security. Surveillance is continuous during night confinement. CCTV cameras monitor every corridor, and control rooms operate around the clock to ensure all systems function correctly. Officers conduct regular rounds to check on the well-being of inmates and respond to any signs of distress, aggression, or rule violations. Even while prisoners appear still or inactive, the environment remains highly controlled, demonstrating the persistent vigilance required in a facility like Belmarsh. Psychologically, night confinement can be particularly challenging. The prolonged isolation, combined with limited sensory stimulation and awareness of constant surveillance, can heighten stress, anxiety, and feelings of monotony. For many inmates, this is a time to reflect, cope with the reality of incarceration, or attempt to establish personal routines to manage the psychological strain. The extended confinement reinforces the strict boundaries and controlled environment of high-security prison life. During the night, officers remain alert for emergencies, such as medical incidents, disturbances, or security breaches. Communication systems allow rapid coordination across the prison, and response teams are ready to intervene if necessary. This constant readiness is essential in a facility housing high-risk and potentially violent offenders, ensuring that even during hours of minimal activity, safety and order are preserved. Inmates may use this time for quiet personal activities, such as reading, writing, or planning for the next day. While movement is limited, these small tasks allow prisoners to maintain a sense of mental engagement. However, the awareness that their actions are monitored reinforces the psychological pressures of confinement, reminding them that freedom is severely restricted and every behavior is observed. For staff, night confinement is a period of sustained vigilance. Officers monitor security systems, perform scheduled checks, and remain prepared to respond to any incidents. The operational demands are high, as even a single lapse could compromise safety. Night confinement exemplifies the careful balance between minimizing risk and ensuring the well-being of inmates and staff alike, highlighting the complexity of managing a high-security institution. As the hours pass toward early morning, the prison maintains its silent, controlled rhythm. Inmates remain in their cells, awaiting the first signs of the next day's wake-up routine at 6:30 a.m. Night confinement underscores the continuous nature of life inside Belmarsh. Every hour, every movement, and every moment is managed with precision, ensuring the safety, security, and psychological management of some of the UK's most dangerous prisoners. Belmarsh Prison is not only defined by its rigid daily schedule, but also by the special security measures designed to manage some of the most dangerous criminals in the UK. High walls, reinforced gates, and controlled access points are just the beginning. The facility incorporates layers of surveillance, monitoring, and procedural safeguards that ensure both prisoners and staff remain protected at all times. Every prisoner is classified based on risk, behavior, and history. High-risk individuals are assigned to specific wings with enhanced security protocols, including reinforced cell doors, limited movement, and constant observation. This classification system allows staff to allocate resources efficiently, minimizing the potential for conflict or escape while maintaining order throughout the prison. Electronic surveillance plays a crucial role in maintaining security. CCTV cameras cover virtually every corridor, exercise yard, and common area. Officers monitor these feeds in real time from secure control rooms, enabling rapid response to any unusual activity. The constant visual oversight acts as both a preventive measure and a means of maintaining situational awareness in a high-risk environment. Access control is strictly enforced. Movement within the prison is limited to authorized areas, and every transfer of a prisoner, whether for work, education, or medical appointments, is carefully coordinated. Officers escort individuals in small groups, using secure gates and controlled pathways to prevent unauthorized contact and reduce the possibility of coordinated incidents. Contraband control is another essential component. Staff conduct regular cell searches, body scans, and use advanced detection equipment to prevent weapons, drugs, or other prohibited items from entering the facility. These measures are particularly critical in a prison that houses individuals convicted of violent offenses, terrorism-related crimes, or other high-risk activities. Specialized units exist within Belmarsh to manage specific challenges. For example, the segregation unit houses inmates who require isolation due to behavior or security concerns. These units are designed with additional layers of control, including enhanced surveillance, reinforced cells, and limited association with other prisoners, ensuring that dangerous individuals remain contained while still receiving essential services. Psychological and behavioral monitoring complements the physical security measures. Staff are trained to recognize signs of stress, agitation, or manipulative behavior among prisoners. This proactive approach allows officers to intervene before conflicts escalate, maintaining both safety and stability within the prison environment. Counseling and support services are integrated for inmates who require mental health care, though access remains structured and controlled. These special security measures ensure that Belmarsh Prison can manage a population of highly dangerous and unpredictable individuals effectively. The combination of physical barriers, surveillance, controlled movement, and behavioral monitoring creates an environment where security is paramount, every procedure is calculated, and the risk of incidents is minimized. In this way, the prison operates as a finely tuned system, balancing control, safety, and the psychological demands of high-security incarceration. Belmarsh Prison operates under a regime where emergency protocols and rapid response are fundamental to maintaining safety and order. Given the high-risk nature of the population, the facility is prepared to handle any situation, from medical crises to violent incidents, attempted escapes, or disturbances. Every officer is trained to react swiftly, ensuring that emergencies are contained before they escalate. The prison employs a comprehensive alert system. Sirens, intercom announcements, and electronic notifications coordinate staff responses across the facility. When an incident occurs, officers can quickly identify the location and type of emergency, mobilizing specialized response teams if necessary. The speed and precision of these measures are critical in a high-security environment like Belmarsh, where even a small delay can have serious consequences. Medical emergencies are treated with the same level of precision. The prison has in-house medical staff and facilities equipped to handle injuries, sudden illnesses, or mental health crises. Officers are trained to provide initial aid and secure the area until professional medical personnel arrive. This ensures that inmates receive timely care while maintaining the safety of the broader prison population. For violent incidents or prisoner altercations, Belmarsh employs specially trained rapid intervention teams. These officers are skilled in de-escalation techniques, restraint methods, and tactical intervention. Their goal is to resolve situations efficiently and safely, minimizing risk to both prisoners and staff. The presence of such teams reinforces the prison's capability to maintain control even under potentially dangerous circumstances. Fire and environmental emergencies are also carefully planned for. Sprinkler systems, smoke detectors, and emergency exits are integrated with evacuation protocols, and officers are trained to lead inmates safely in the event of fire or structural hazards. Regular drills ensure that both staff and prisoners are familiar with procedures, reducing panic and confusion during real emergencies. Communication is vital during all emergency situations. Officers maintain constant contact with control rooms, supervisors, and response units to coordinate actions effectively. Real-time updates allow teams to adapt strategies depending on the evolving scenario, whether it involves an inmate medical emergency, a security breach, or a conflict in the yard. Efficient communication ensures that interventions are precise and controlled. The psychological aspect of emergency preparedness is significant for inmates. Knowledge that the prison is equipped with rapid response teams and structured protocols can be intimidating, reinforcing the authority of the institution. It also shapes behavior, as prisoners understand that violations or disturbances are likely to trigger immediate and decisive action. By integrating technology, training, and structured procedures, Belmarsh ensures that emergencies are managed effectively without compromising the overall security of the prison. These protocols not only protect staff and inmates, but also preserve the operational integrity of the facility. In a high-security environment where risks are constant, the ability to respond quickly and efficiently is as crucial as the daily routines and structured confinement that define life inside Belmarsh. While Belmarsh Prison is primarily a high-security facility, rehabilitation and monitoring are integral parts of the daily routine. Even within an environment designed for control and discipline, efforts are made to support inmates' mental, educational, and behavioral development. Structured programs aim to reduce recidivism, address underlying issues, and prepare prisoners for eventual reintegration into society, wherever possible. Rehabilitation programs at Belmarsh are tailored to the security level and risk profile of each inmate. These programs may include educational classes, vocational training, cognitive behavioral therapy, and anger management courses. While participation is sometimes voluntary, inmates often understand that engagement in these programs can influence privileges and opportunities within the prison system. This incentivized approach ensures that rehabilitation efforts are integrated with the broader framework of control. Monitoring plays a critical role in supporting these programs. Officers and specialist staff track inmate behavior, attendance, and progress in rehabilitation activities. Electronic monitoring systems, regular reports, and direct observations are all used to evaluate compliance and effectiveness. This continuous oversight allows staff to identify issues early and adjust programs to meet individual needs without compromising security. Psychological support is another key element. Belmarsh provides access to mental health professionals who work with inmates experiencing stress, anxiety, depression, or behavioral difficulties. Therapy sessions, counseling, and risk assessment meetings are conducted in secure, controlled environments. These interventions help prisoners manage the psychological pressures of high-security incarceration while promoting personal growth. Educational opportunities during the day are closely linked to rehabilitation. Literacy classes, vocational training, and skill-building workshops give inmates tools to develop competencies that may assist them during incarceration and after release. Even in a facility where security is paramount, these structured programs provide purpose and a sense of achievement, reinforcing positive behavior and personal accountability. Behavioral monitoring complements rehabilitation by assessing how prisoners interact within the controlled environment. Staff observe compliance with rules, social conduct, and reactions to authority. This information guides the allocation of privileges, assignment to specific wings, and involvement in rehabilitative activities. Monitoring ensures that programs are both effective and safe, preventing high-risk individuals from exploiting opportunities inappropriately. The integration of rehabilitation and monitoring also serves a preventive function. By addressing psychological, social, and educational needs, Belmarsh reduces the likelihood of unrest, self-harm, or disruptive behavior. Inmates who are actively engaged in structured programs are more likely to comply with routines, participate positively in their environment, and demonstrate improved behavior over time. Ultimately, rehabilitation and monitoring at Belmarsh highlight the dual mission of the prison, maintaining maximum security while providing avenues for personal development and risk management. The meticulous oversight ensures that every step of rehabilitation is safe, controlled, and aligned with the institution's overarching goals. In this way, even within one of the UK's most dangerous prisons, efforts are made to balance security, control, and the potential for positive change.